Alright, let's work on the big blade. I was looking at it. I can do some of the areas with indirect percussion, so I'll be using both pressure and indirect percussion. Yeah. So, but it's gonna have to be slow. Very methodical work, because the flaking is difficult. Yeah. Well, let's try pressure first. Let's see. Okay, it's working all right. I got the space heater in the background, in case you're wondering what that sound is. You're not wondering? You already know. Yeah. Okay, yeah, this is going to be very methodical, because if I don't get these edges ground down just right, it's not going to work. Yeah. Yeah, that's not too bad. So, I don't think I should talk too much. Yeah, because overall I've got to concentrate, and there's a lot of flaking. Yeah. With a big blade, there's just a lot of flaking. A lot of pausing to abrade, a lot of looking around for opportunities. I gotta check a lot more carefully for defects. It's a lot more surface area to check, see if it looks good. Overall, these large blades just take a lot more time, or they should. If they're not taking a lot of time for you, I want to know your secret. Oh, yes. And if you don't tell me your secret, I'm going to stop making videos. Yeah. There's no secret. You can't make these fast. You just thought they were made fast in the past. It's not always fast in the past. It sounds like a rule, but it's not a rule. How do you know? Maybe they took weeks to make these things and only work on them during special occasions. Maybe when the moon is correct. Who knows? Maybe they're moon blades. Maybe they're Mars blades. Only when you can see Mars. I don't know. Maybe they just forgot all that, but they have some kind of incense brewing or smoldering in the distance. Maybe they'd smear their faces with mud before working on these, like Ishii did. Yeah. Who's Ishii? If you don't know, come back. Go educate yourself and then come back. Yeah, or someone tell them. I'm not telling them. If you don't know who Ishii is, I don't know what you're doing on this channel. Unless you're an ASMR type, then I understand. Yeah. Sometimes these little napping noises are very sleep inducing. Mm-hmm. Sleep inducing. Sounds so medical and so technical. No, none of this is medical or technical. This is ancient skill. Yeah. This is the kind of stuff that molded our brains back in the day. Our brains developed in accordance with skills like this. It's a highly manipulative skill. That's why we are highly manipulative. Yep. What's ironic is some of us understand how to manipulate rocks, but clueless when it comes to manipulation of people. Yeah. And clueless why people do things. But we understand why rocks do things sometimes. This has a nice tone. Does that mean anything? Not to me. I just don't want it to break. Having a nice tone is not what I'm after. I'm after the non-breakage. Yep. The non-breakage is what I'm hoping for. And if I could do a little dance to help prevent breakage, I would do it if I believed in that stuff. I don't. Doing a little happy dance never helped anything like this before. I wish. I can imagine I'm doing a happy dance. Maybe I have to actually physically do it. Yeah. And then everything would be fine. Get the right chemicals flowing. Yes or no? I have no idea. It helped that I napped the mahogany obsidian just before this. This is very similar to that mahogany obsidian. Yeah. Has that same plastic feeling to it. And that same, very easy to crush the edges. Still having trouble right there. It's okay. I'm expecting this to get pretty narrow. just make it really narrow right now and then shoot flakes. No, I'm going to do it very gradually in the most boring way possible. Yep. I'm going to finish up with pressure, so it doesn't matter how much I'm grinding the edges, I got to grind them anyway. And I got to sharpen them all up. I think I know why it's doing that. Yeah. Why it's doing the scoop outs. I probably should be doing that type of flaking with pressure because it needs a longer contact with the platform, with the striking area. Pressure flaking allows you to remain in contact with the striking area or the pressure area longer than with a percussion strike. That helps it to travel further. Helps those flakes travel a little bit further. But you can't get the same amount of power. Sometimes you need to drive those flakes with more power than pressure can do easily. So there's a trade-off. And I'm using a 1/4 inch diameter or 5/16 indirect percussion rod, because I only want to take off small flakes. This shocks the piece a lot less too. It can do wide flakes as long as the surface is pretty flat. But I'm not going to do too many of those unless I can see a clear shot. I gotta watch the symmetry. Mm-hmm. Okay. So what I'm doing is I'm just making the edges less lumpy, more regular as far as smoothness. I'm trying to smooth everything out. And I've got some areas that need to be thinned a little bit more. So I will try to do that. You'll know which areas I'm trying to thin by the flakes I'm removing. At this stage, I got to be very careful. So whatever the flakes are doing is mostly what I'm intending to do, instead of just going with the flow. In the beginning, I'll just take whatever I get. But at this stage, I got to be more exact. So you can pretty much tell what I'm going for by the flakes I'm removing. If I remove a short flake, that means I'm going for a short flake. If I'm taking a long flake, that means I want a long flake. At this stage, I have to be more predictable because there's not much room for error. Yeah. See, I wanted a long flake there, and I got a long flake. Yep. As long as I go halfway or a little bit more, that's what I'm after. I'm not going for really long flakes. Like that went a little bit past halfway, that's good enough. I can get the rest of this lump here from the other side. Hopefully. But at this stage, like I said, I'm trying to be very, very careful. And I don't always snap this way because it gets me burned out too quickly. I try to pace myself. Some people, they can go full blast all the time. Pedal to the metal, so to speak, the whole way through, and they don't get burned out or tired. In other words, they don't have to pace themselves. I wish I didn't have to. But yeah, I gotta pace myself. If I don't, I won't be able to focus. Hocus pocus focus. I focus so I can do some hocus pocus. Yep. I'll let you know when I think it's luck, which is many times. Mm-hmm. Okay. Some of these strikes are less than ideal. Taking chances. Dang it. What's up with that? think the tool tip is getting worn down. I'm not going to explain everything. You'll just have to look and see what I'm doing. If I start explaining everything, I'll either be wrong or I'll mess it up. It's hard to explain. In fact, a spectator can probably be better at figuring out what I'm doing than I can, even though I'm the one doing the napping. I'm just going by experience. I really don't see it from your perspective. Even though I try to get you a view from my perspective, we're probably not seeing the same thing. I think it's useful that we know what we're seeing, what you're seeing, what I'm seeing. We can compare. Might be useful. It probably is useful to know. What are you seeing and what am I seeing? Maybe I'm missing something. I've been known to miss the obvious as well as ignore the obvious. I see it, but it doesn't matter. Right? I say to myself, it doesn't matter. I see it, but it's not going to matter. I'll ignore some things that maybe they're important. And I'll just deal with the consequences. And sometimes I don't even see it. And I wish I did see it. When it starts eating the copper for lunch, something's up. This material is so soft that copper should not be depositing at all onto this. But it did right there. It might be a tough spot. It was right there, right? You gotta watch out for those tough spots if they exist. They forced me to hit too hard. Yeah. I think what I might do is I'll just sharpen this off camera because it's all pressure flaking with short flakes and it's not very educational. I don't know how educational this is. This is just short flakes for the most part too. I'm trying to get to a place where I can shoot another flake, perhaps some more flakes into the middle. I might not be able to, but if I can, it would be nice to smooth that out a little bit. But I'm not going to hold my breath hoping. It's already good enough. And I'm going to be looking a lot because there's a lot to look at. of looking all up and down the blade. And there's, you know, since there's a lot of blade, there's a lot of looking and turning, and you know, the more there is to look at, the more turnings happen, because I gotta turn to look at every single thing from different angles to make sure that I'm hitting correctly and not too high above center line, not too low below center line. I like to have a little sweet spot where it's slightly below center line, but it also depends on how well it's working. On this one, it's good to be slightly below center line, which is the normal default sweet spot for anything. But with this one, it's very important. Slightly below center line before I make a strike. But it can't be too far below center line. There's a tolerance, yeah. It doesn't have to be perfect. There are tolerances. Yeah. Well, that almost made it to the back of that step fracture. Sometimes it's hard to tell which direction should I continue picking at it. I don't want to pick at it too much because it looks like it has been picked at. Yeah. Good enough. I just wanted to get it smoother. I think it did it. I think it's smoothing out a little bit. All right. Is it 30 minutes yet? I'm going to stop as soon as I reach the point where I think it can be finished off with pressure. Yeah. It may be at the 30-minute mark, but I think I still have a little bit more than that to go. I don't know. I don't see any good. I still don't see any good opportunities to smooth out these lumps. I'm going to attack those lumps from both sides. If I see an opportunity. If not, I'm not going to attack the lumps. I'm just going to develop the edges You know, make them stronger by taking them back a little bit. But if I don't see good opportunities, that's it. I'm not gonna take the shot. I gotta make sure I'm not gonna be thinning anywhere else. Because once the middle is thin, I can't be thinning the ends anymore. I might take a shot into here to get to the back side of that. I don't know. I don't need to. Yeah, okay. Not gonna push it. Yeah, that's it. Now all it is pressure flaking. Alrighty, that's good. Yeah, I'm satisfied with how it looks in the middle on both sides. And it's strong enough that I don't have to worry about snapping it during the pressure flaking. Even if I drop this, it's not going to break, or it shouldn't. Not at this thickness. So the final dimension, well, it'll get slightly shorter with the pressure flaking, especially down here. But anyways, I don't have to do any pressure flaking, so I might just leave it down here on the base. 9 and 7/16, almost 9.5 by 2.5, and that is 65 millimeters divided by 12. What is that? 5, between 5 and 6 to 1. It's like 5 to 1. It's good. I'm not complaining about that at all. It's 6 to 1 probably down here and there. Yeah. So I'm just going to be pressure flaking it. It will be available tomorrow in the auction. I want to do this off camera tomorrow in the morning when I've got some rest. Yeah. I'll do some bifacing tonight after this. And some preforms. Turn those bifaces into preforms also tonight. And then I'll work on some more points tomorrow. Probably all off camera. Yeah. And then I'll pick at this after I finish pressure flaking to get out all the remnant little step fractures. But yeah, that's it. I like it. I'm going to make this a little bit. Oh, I'm going to take these edges down just a little bit, barely enough to get symmetry, so I can keep the width on it. Yeah. Okay. I'm trying to see if there's any cracks or anything. I think I got rid of all the cracks and all the crunchy parts along the edges. Yeah, there's no crunchy parts anymore. So it makes it much easier to pressure flake. Yep. I'm not going to run any long pressure flakes into the middle, just along the edges. That's it. I like the way it tapers on the tip. I don't like it too skinny in this area. Sometimes I make a mistake and remove too much off of this area just below the tip, but I left it. I could have run another flake in there, but I'm not going to. Nope. Sometimes I dish it out too much. Yeah, I'm just going to leave it. It's smooth enough. Okay, there you go. Finished. As far as the hard part. Yep. Just get another towel, dude. Just put another towel down. You don't need this towel. Yes, I do. It's a good luck towel. Yeah. You didn't know? Now you know. There you go. Now you know. There you go. That's it. Okay.